Listen to me. I need you to wake up and look in the mirror right now, because today is the day you stop lying to yourself. No more excuses. No more tomorrow. No more I'll start when things get better. Now, you start now. You've been talking about your dreams, your goals, your purpose, but talking ain't the same as doing. You say you're tired, but you're not tired enough to change. You say you want success, but you're not willing to pay the price. The truth is, every second you waste making excuses is a second someone else is grinding for what you want. I need you to understand something. Nobody's coming to save you. Not your friends, not your family, not your boss. It's on you. You've got power, potential, and purpose inside you, but it means nothing if you don't act on it. So from this moment forward, no more pity parties, no more blaming your past, no more waiting for the right time. The right time is nano-do. Get up, lock in, and start taking action like your life depends on it, because it does. Let's go to work. Stop making excuses. Start owning your choices. That's where everything changes. Because the moment you stop pointing fingers at your situation, your parents, your boss, or your past, that's the moment you finally take control of your life. You can't move forward if you're still holding on to blame. You can't grow if you keep convincing yourself that it's somebody else's fault. Every single person who's ever achieved greatness started at the same point, with responsibility. They made a decision that no matter what, they were going to own every choice, every action, every result. That's where true power begins. See, most people never reach their potential, not because they're not talented, but because they're trapped in the habit of excuses. They say things like, I don't have time. I don't have the resources. I wasn't born with the same opportunities. And I get it. Life can be unfair. Circumstances can be rough. And sometimes the odds are stacked against you. But the difference between the people who win and the ones who stay stuck is this: winners stop using their situation as a reason to quit. They use it as motivation to push harder. When you make an excuse, you're giving away your power. You're telling the world that something outside of you controls your destiny. But when you own your choices, you take that power back. You have to be brutally honest with yourself. Every time you say, I can't, what you really mean is, I won't. Every time you say, I don't have time, what you really mean is, it's not a priority. The truth hurts, but the truth also heals. It forces you to see that your life is a reflection of your decisions, not your excuses. If you're not where you want to be, it's not because you can't get there. It's because you've accepted something less than your best. You've got to stop letting fear and comfort drive your decisions. Excuses are comfortable. They're soft. They let you off the hook. They give you a reason to stay the same. But growth doesn't live in comfort. Growth demands ownership. It demands that you look yourself in the mirror and say, I created this. And if I created it, I can change it. That's what owning your choices means. It means taking full responsibility for your life, not just the good parts, but the bad too. It means saying, if my life isn't where I want it to be, then I'm the one who's got to make the changes. You might think you're protecting yourself with excuses, but really, you're building a cage. Every time you justify why you didn't take action, you make those bars stronger. I'm too tired. I'm too busy. I'll start next week. Those are the words that chain you to mediocrity. But when you take responsibility, those same bars start to break. You realize that no one's holding you back but you. You realize that freedom doesn't come from avoiding accountability. It comes from embracing it. Life will always give you a reason to stop. There will always be challenges, distractions, and people who doubt you. But your job isn't to look for reasons why you can't. It's to find the reasons why you must. When you take ownership, you stop reacting to life and start directing it. You move from being a victim to being a creator. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what can I do about it? That shift in mindset changes everything, because when you own your choices, you gain control over your future. Owning your choices means you no longer wait for permission to live your dreams. You stop asking others to believe in you before you believe in yourself. You stop seeking approval and start building results. It means you stop blaming your lack of progress on your environment, your job, or your upbringing. You start looking at yourself and saying, what am I doing to make this happen? The moment you do that, you step into your power. Because success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who take responsibility and move forward. Look at your habits, your routines, your attitude. Those are choices, not accidents. The way you spend your mornings, the people you surround yourself with, the effort you put in, all of it is a choice. And every choice adds up. You can't keep choosing laziness and expect success. You can't keep choosing distraction and expect progress. You can't keep choosing fear and expect freedom. The results you have today are the sum of every choice you've made until now. That's not meant to make you feel guilty. It's meant to show you that you have power. Because if your past choices created your present, then your present choices can create a better future. The problem is, too many people spend their energy trying to explain why they didn't win instead of focusing on how to win next time. They say things like, I didn't have the right support, or it wasn't the right timing. But the truth is, there's never going to be a perfect time. There's never going to be a day when everything lines up perfectly. You have to act with what you have where you are. You have to take ownership of your journey and move forward anyway, because every excuse delays your destiny. Every excuse costs you another opportunity. You've got to start looking at yourself as the CEO of your life. A leader doesn't blame. A leader adjusts. A leader doesn't complain. A leader creates solutions. When things go wrong, a leader doesn't point fingers. They look inward. That's the same mindset you need. Stop saying, it's not my fault, and start saying, it's my responsibility. Because the moment you accept responsibility, you also accept power. You can't change what you won't own. And if you keep making excuses, you're choosing to stay powerless. Most people think excuses protect their ego, but all they do is protect their limitations. When you say, I can't, you're reinforcing the belief that you're not capable. When you say, it's not fair, you're giving up the opportunity to learn from the struggle. Life is going to test you. That's guaranteed. But those tests are not there to stop you. They're there to reveal you. They show you who you really are when things get tough. And if all you do is make excuses, then you'll never discover your strength. Every champion, every entrepreneur, every great leader you've ever admired had every reason to quit. They had excuses too, real ones. They had failures, losses, setbacks. But they didn't let those things define them. They owned their journey. They said, yes, it's hard, but it's my responsibility to keep going. That's the difference between ordinary and extraordinary. Ownership. The people who rise to the top aren't the ones with perfect conditions. They're the ones who stop making excuses and start finding solutions. When you take ownership, you start to see opportunities where others see obstacles. You stop waiting for luck and start creating momentum. You begin to realize that the smallest daily choices can change everything. Waking up early, staying focused, being consistent. Those choices seem small, but they stack up over time. They build character, they build resilience, and they build results. Every time you choose action over excuses, you strengthen the part of you that's unstoppable. And don't think ownership means perfection. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail. But that's part of it. Owning your choices means you learn from failure instead of running from it. It means you accept responsibility for the outcome, then get back up and do better. Excuses keep you in the same place. Ownership keeps you growing. When you own it, you turn every loss into a lesson, every challenge into a chance to rise. When you stop making excuses, you stop waiting for the world to change, and you start changing yourself. You stop expecting things to get easier and start getting stronger. Because ownership isn't about control. It's about empowerment. It's about saying, I may not control everything that happens, but I control how I respond. That's where your freedom lies. Nobody's life is perfect. Everybody has struggles. But your success isn't determined by your circumstances. It's determined by how you respond to them. You can't rewrite your past, but you can take responsibility for your future. You can't control what life throws at you, but you can control how you show up. And when you show up with ownership, with accountability, with drive, nothing can stop you. Owning your choices is not just about big life decisions. It's about the small ones you make every single day. It's about choosing discipline when you'd rather be comfortable. It's about choosing growth when it would be easier to stay the same. It's about choosing to do what's necessary instead of what's easy. Because every choice you make is shaping the person you're becoming. The world doesn't owe you anything. Nobody's going to hand you success. But that's the best part, because it means you don't have to wait on anyone. You can start right now. You can start taking responsibility, taking control, and taking action. Stop making excuses. Stop telling stories. Stop explaining your potential. Just own it. Every decision, every outcome, every result, because your life is built on the choices you make, and the power to change it has been yours all along. Action is the only bridge between dreams and reality. You can talk about your goals all day long. You can visualize, you can plan, you can imagine how amazing it's going to feel when you get there. But none of it means anything until you move. The gap between who you are and who you want to be can't be crossed with words. It can only be crossed with consistent, deliberate action. You can have the biggest dreams in the world, but if you never act on them, they stay exactly that, dreams. You can't wish your way into success. You can't hope your way into greatness. You have to work for it. Most people think dreaming is enough. They think that if they just believe hard enough, things will happen on their own. But life doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards action. Dreams are the blueprint. Action is the construction. You can draw the plan 100 times, but until you start laying bricks, nothing is built. That's the difference between people who achieve and people who just talk. Dreamers think about what could be. Doors make it happen. The world doesn't remember those who had ideas. It remembers those who acted on them. You can't sit around waiting for motivation to strike. You can't keep saying, I'll start when I feel ready. You'll never feel fully ready. Action itself creates readiness. The moment you start, even if it's messy, even if it's uncertain, you begin to gain clarity. Momentum comes from movement, not from thinking. You can't learn how to swim by reading about it. You've got to jump in the water. The same rule applies to life, business, fitness, relationships, everything. You learn by doing. You grow by doing. You succeed by doing. There's a powerful thing that happens when you take action. Suddenly, the fear that used to hold you back begins to lose power. You start realizing that most of the limits you believed in were illusions. Action gives you feedback, and feedback gives you growth. You figure out what works, what doesn't, and you adjust. Without action, you're stuck in imagination. With action, you step into transformation. The bridge doesn't just connect your dream to reality. It changes you along the way. Every day you don't take action, the dream fades a little more. The excitement you once had begins to dull. You start convincing yourself it wasn't that important, that maybe it wasn't meant for you. But it was, you just didn't move. The longer you wait, the heavier the weight of regret becomes. Action isn't just about achievement. It's about alignment. It aligns your energy, your focus, and your purpose. It tells the universe that you're serious. When you take that first step, doors begin to open that you couldn't even see before. Some people spend years waiting for the right opportunity, when in reality, action creates opportunity. The more you do, the more you learn. The more you learn, the more confident you become. The more confident you become, the more opportunities show up. You don't need the perfect plan. You need a persistent spirit. Action is messy. It's unpredictable, but it's also magical, because in motion, everything changes. Every step forward, no matter how small, gets you closer to your goal. The hardest part is starting. Once you begin, something inside you shifts. You start to see progress, even if it's small, and that progress builds momentum. But too many people stay stuck in planning mode. They spend all their energy preparing instead of doing. They want to make sure every detail is right, every risk is minimized. But that perfectionism is just procrastination in disguise. You can't perfect something that hasn't even begun. You've got to move first, then improve. Action also requires courage, because when you act, you expose yourself to failure, judgment, and disappointment. But those are the very things that shape you. Every failure teaches you something that no book or quote ever could. Every setback refines your focus. Every obstacle builds resilience. People who take action don't escape pain. They embrace it and use it as fuel. They understand that comfort kills dreams faster than failure ever could. When you choose action, you take control of your destiny. You stop waiting for life to happen and start making life happen. You stop asking for permission and start creating your own path. And the beauty is, action compounds. One small step leads to another. One small win builds confidence for the next. And soon you look back and realize you've crossed miles of progress without even noticing. That's the power of movement. Think about every major success story. Every athlete, artist, entrepreneur, or leader you admire. None of them got there by talking. They didn't just dream about success. They worked for it. They sacrificed for it. They acted even when they didn't feel like it. They kept moving through doubt, through failure, through fear, because they understood that action is not optional, it's essential. You can't think your way into transformation. You have to move your way into it. The truth is, action is the most honest expression of belief. If you really believe in your dream, your actions will prove it. If you say you want something but never move toward it, what you really want is the idea of it, not the reality. Because the reality of success demands sweat, struggle, and persistence. It demands that you show up even when you're tired, even when nobody's watching, even when the results don't come right away. You have to remember that small actions matter. Too often people wait for the big moment, the big break, the big opportunity. But greatness is built in the small steps nobody sees. It's built in early mornings, late nights, quiet work, and constant effort. Every little decision adds up. You may not notice the difference today, but 6 months, a year, 5 years from now, you'll be living in the results of what you did consistently. Action is the investment that pays off in time. When you act, you separate yourself from the majority. Most people talk, most people dream, few people do. The ones who do become the examples the rest look up to. You have to ask yourself, do you want to be a dreamer or a doer? Because there's no in between. The bridge only appears when you take the step. Waiting won't build it. Wishing won't build it. Walking will. Action also builds confidence. Every time you follow through, you prove to yourself that you can be trusted. You build self-respect. You stop doubting your ability to follow through. And that inner confidence is priceless because it becomes the foundation for everything else. Confidence doesn't come from success. It comes from the courage to start. So when you wake up in the morning, don't think about all the reasons why it might not work. Think about the one reason why you need to make it work. Don't focus on how far you have to go. Focus on what you can do right now. One task, one move, one decision, that's all it takes to create momentum. Action doesn't require perfection, it requires persistence. It's not about doing everything at once, it's about doing something every day. Every great journey starts with a single step, and every single step matters. The person you become is built through action, not intention. Your dream will stay a dream until you decide to move. Nothing will change until you do. The bridge is built through movement, consistency, and courage, one step at a time, every single day. Discipline today creates freedom tomorrow. That's the truth most people don't want to face. Everyone wants freedom. Freedom to live on their own terms, freedom to travel, freedom to make choices without stress, but very few are willing to pay the price that freedom demands. Discipline is that price. It's the quiet force behind every success story, the invisible foundation that keeps dreams from collapsing. Without discipline, talent is wasted, motivation fades, and potential dies before it ever becomes reality. The work you do when you don't feel like it, the sacrifices you make when nobody's watching, those are the moments that build the kind of freedom you're chasing. Discipline is not about punishment, it's about purpose. It's the ability to keep moving toward your goals, even when it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or uncertain. Motivation might get you started, but discipline keeps you going when motivation disappears, and it always disappears. No one feels inspired every day. The people who win are the ones who keep showing up, even on the days they don't feel like it. They wake up early when they'd rather sleep. They train when they're tired. They study when they'd rather relax because they know that every small act of discipline today buys them freedom later. The truth is, every decision you make either brings you closer to freedom or deeper into limitation. Every time you choose comfort over consistency, you trade your long-term freedom for short-term pleasure. Every time you skip the work, delay the plan, or give in to distraction, you hand away a little piece of your future. Discipline is the guardrail that keeps you from drifting off course. It doesn't make life harder. It makes success inevitable because the disciplined person doesn't wait for luck or timing. They create results through consistency. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want. It comes from doing what's required. The athlete who trains when no one's watching earns the freedom to perform at their best. The entrepreneur who grinds every day earns the freedom to control their schedule. The student who studies when everyone else is distracted earns the freedom of opportunity. The artist who practices endlessly earns the freedom of mastery. Discipline is what transforms effort into excellence and potential into performance. Most people misunderstand discipline. They think it's restrictive, that it limits their fun or creativity. But in reality, discipline is the structure that allows freedom to exist. Without it, you become a slave to impulses, emotions, and external circumstances. The person without discipline is constantly controlled by how they feel. If they're tired, they quit. If they're bored, they stop. If it's hard, they give up. The disciplined person feels all those same things but moves forward anyway. That's why they win. You can't be free if you can't control yourself. The world is full of distractions designed to steal your attention, your energy, and your focus. Discipline is your shield. It's what allows you to stay committed to what matters, even when everything around you tries to pull you off track. Every time you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to your future. Every time you choose effort over ease, you're building strength. Every time you do what's right instead of what's easy, you're investing in your freedom. Discipline is built, not born. Nobody wakes up naturally disciplined. It's a skill developed through repetition. You have to train it like a muscle. The more you practice doing what you said you do, the stronger that muscle gets. Start with small commitments. Wake up on time, stick to your plan, follow through on promises. And over time, those habits compound. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop negotiating with laziness. You stop depending on motivation. Discipline becomes part of who you are. There's a point in every journey where the excitement fades and the grind begins. That's where discipline separates the successful from the average. The average person looks for shortcuts. The disciplined person builds endurance. The average person quits when it's inconvenient. The disciplined person adapts and pushes through. Because discipline isn't about doing what's easy. It's about doing what's necessary. Every repetition, every sacrifice, every disciplined choice builds internal power, the kind that can't be taken away. It's easy to admire people who have achieved greatness, but what most don't see is the discipline behind the scenes, the early mornings, the late nights, the sacrifices nobody claps for. That's where the real work happens. Success is built in private long before it's celebrated in public. And when the moment finally comes, when opportunities open up and freedom arise, it's not by accident, it's by discipline. Think about it. The disciplined student has the freedom to choose their career. The undisciplined one is limited by missed chances. The disciplined worker builds skills that allow independence. The undisciplined one stays stuck relying on others. The disciplined saver gains financial freedom. The undisciplined spender stays trapped in debt. Every area of life follows the same law. Discipline first, freedom later. There will be days when you don't feel like doing it. That's guaranteed. Discipline doesn't remove resistance. It helps you move through it. You have to remember your why you started, why it matters. Because when you remember the purpose behind the pain, the sacrifice becomes worth it. Discipline is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about showing up over and over again until consistency becomes your default. Every time you act with discipline, you send a message to yourself that your goals matter. You strengthen your identity as someone who follows through. And that identity becomes powerful. Because when you start to see yourself as a disciplined person, your actions naturally align with that belief. You stop making excuses. You stop delaying. You start doing. And slowly, your life begins to transform. Discipline is also freedom from regret. When you live with discipline, you don't have to look back, wishing you tried harder. You don't have to carry the weight of what ifs. You can look at your reflection and know you gave it everything. That peace is priceless. The people who lack discipline often spend their lives running from guilt, blaming others, and trying to justify why they didn't commit. The disciplined person doesn't need excuses. Their actions speak for them. There's a saying, you can suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. One hurts now. The other hurts forever. The difference is that one pain builds you, the other breaks you. Discipline requires short-term sacrifice for long-term gain. It's saying no now so you can say yes later. It's choosing the workout over the couch, the book over the screen, the work over the excuse. Those choices don't feel good in the moment, but they compound into something incredible over time. Discipline brings clarity. When you're consistent, your mind becomes focused. You stop overthinking and start executing. You stop reacting and start directing. You begin to trust the process, knowing that progress comes to those who stay steady. The more disciplined you become, the simpler life gets because you stop wasting energy on things that don't serve your mission. You stop being pulled in every direction. You gain focus, and focus leads to power. Every disciplined person understands that freedom isn't instant, it's earned. The hours you put in now are seeds planted for the life you'll live later. You might not see results right away, but they're growing beneath the surface. Discipline is the act of faith that says, I believe my effort will pay off. It's choosing consistency over comfort, progress over perfection, and purpose over pleasure. And even though it feels tough, it's building something stronger inside you with every decision you make. Discipline today creates freedom tomorrow because it builds habits that work for you, not against you. It shapes a mindset that refuses to settle. It strengthens the character that can handle success when it comes. Without discipline, even if you get what you want, you'll lose it because you won't have the foundation to keep it. But with discipline, you earn it, you maintain it, and you grow beyond it. That's why discipline is the ultimate key to freedom. It's the bridge that turns effort into independence and dreams into reality.